Welcome to Tardisian Files, a show dedicated to reviewing and discussing aspects of one of the most loved and longest running British sci-fi shows. This podcast is a fan-led series where we pull together sources from all across Doctor Who's extended media, including the show itself, comics, audio stories, and novels. Wow, last week was a field day for fans, as the BBC announced several upcoming cast members joining Ncuti Gatwa's 15th Doctor in Season 14. Some new faces, and some familiar ones too. And so naturally, in today's episode, we will be discussing the newly announced cast of Doctor Who Season 14, who will be appearing alongside the 15th Doctor. Let's get into it. So the first familiar face that we will be discussing is Bonnie Langford, who played the companion Melanie Bush in the classic series of Doctor Who. For those who don't know, Mel was first introduced as a programmer from Earth in the late 80s, being summoned to his trial in the TV serial Trial of the Time Lord. After helping defeat the Valeyard, she left the Time Lord's metatemporal space station with the 6th Doctor, only for the TARDIS to later be shot down by the Rani, causing his regeneration into his 7th incarnation. Mel would go on to have most of her televised adventures with the 7th Doctor, until leaving at the end of the episode Dragonfire, staying on the planet Spartros with Sabalon Glitz. While the accounts do vary, Mel eventually returned home to Earth circa 1990, continuing her career as a computer scientist, and eventually going to work with Ace in 2010 for Ace's charity, A Charitable Earth, where she worked on outreach projects such as providing computers to schools in Africa. The last televised appearance made by Mel was a cameo in the support group formed by Graham and Dan at the end of Flux, where she was seen alongside other companions such as Joe Grant, Yasmin Khan, Ian Chesterton, Dan Lewis, and Graham O'Brien, along with Ace and Tegan Jovanka, and even Kate Stewart. That is until last week, when BBC announced that Bonnie Langford would be returning not just for a cameo, but an active role in the plots of some of the episodes in Season 14. Now, some people may not have realised this, but the news of Langford's return isn't actually new. The initial announcement was actually made by Bonnie Langford herself in several interviews back in October of 2022, where she revealed that her one condition for returning to Doctor Who was that she did not want to be screaming in the episodes, something that made Mel stand out quite a bit as a classic companion, a testament to this being that, in Part 3 of the first episode of Season 4, Time and the Rani, the cliffhanger ends with Mel screaming in horror, very loudly. However, last week served as a more publicised reminder that Melanie Bush will be returning to the show, and, to many viewers' delight, including my own, Mel will be returning for at least one story this upcoming season. The circumstances under which the Doctor may meet Mel again is unclear. However, given what we know from Power of the Doctor, we know that Mel is on Earth in 2022, and it's likely that the 15th Doctor will reunite with Mel in an episode set in modern day on Earth. Now, if you're excited about Melanie Bush's return, those of you who enjoyed Torchwood will be very pleased to hear about the next person on our list, Indira Varma. For those of you who don't know, Indira Varma appeared in the first and 8th episodes of Torchwood Season 1 as Torchwood 3 member turned villain Susie Costello. In last week's announcements, Indira Varma was announced to be playing a character called the Duchess, who, by Varma's own description, is implied to be one of Season 24's villains. While there hasn't been much else announced about the details of Indira's character, and how this Duchess may cross paths with the 15th Doctor, I have my own theory. Die-hard fans of the Torchwood audios may be familiar with the audio story Torchwood Golden Age. In this story, Captain Jack, Gwen and Yanto come across a supposedly shut-down branch of Torchwood, Torchwood India. Torchwood India was set up during the British Raj and by the 1920s was ran by a woman named Eleanor, who was, you guessed it, known as the Duchess, or, if you want to get technical, Her Grace, the Duchess of Melrose. In the story, Jack finds Eleanor and the other Torchwood India agents, whom he last saw in 1924, still very much alive and as young as they were 85 years prior. He soon discovers, when he came to clear out Torchwood India, he left behind a bitter taste in the Duchess's mouth and, more importantly, an alien device called a time store. This device was modified and used by Eleanor to freeze time inside Torchwood India and repeat the day so that the branch was effectively never shut down. Eleanor planned to connect this device to the global satellite network and expand its range across the entire planet. This would have effectively rolled the world back in time to 1924, which Eleanor planned to use to prevent the fall of the British Empire. Ultimately, her plan was stopped, and the time store was shut down, which led to Torchwood India and all of the agents being forever frozen in time. However, given Indira Varma's recognisable link to Torchwood, and Russell T Davies' habit of making references and even developing storylines from the audio stories, is it possible that Varma's Duchess and Duchess Eleanor are one and the same? Could Eleanor have escaped Torchwood India before it collapsed into a singularity? Or will the Doctor be encountering her for the first time, at a point in time before Jack Harkness came to shut down Torchwood India? Whatever it is, I hope RTD will use this golden opportunity to at least reference one of Torchwood's underused and most formidable villains. Now, among the familiar faces returning, one of them included Gemma Redgrave, who will be returning as Unit's Kate Stewart after her last appearance in Power of the Doctor. Given how the third episode of the 60th anniversary special, The Giggle, appears to take place partially inside the new Unit HQ in London, we may either see Kate appearing shortly after an encounter with the 14th Doctor, or at a later point. Now, aside from the returning cast members, fans have been treated to a new list of cast members whose character details have yet to be announced. This includes Anirin Barnard, who was spotted on the 9th and 10th of January this year, on set at Cardiff Capital Shopping Centre alongside Gemma Redgrave. Barnard's character has been announced as Roger Ap-Gwillian, and given that he appears alongside Gemma's Kate Stewart, I think it's likely that viewers may be treated to being introduced to another high-up Unit official. Another high-profile member of the cast is American drag queen Jinx Monsoon, best known for their victory in the 5th season of RuPaul's Drag Race in 2013. Though no details have been confirmed about Monsoon's character, they themselves have released a statement saying, "I hope the TARDIS has room for my luggage," prompting fans to wonder if Monsoon may be a short-term companion in the upcoming series. I will say that if they are set to join the TARDIS crew, then Jinx Monsoon will certainly be one of the more fabulous companions we've seen so far. Moving on, the last one on our list, and the most elusive member of the new cast announced, is Grammy winner Jonathan Groff, who some fans may remember as his breakout role on Glee as Jesse St. James. Though no details have been announced, promo photos show Groff and Ncuti Gatwa and Millie Gibson in Regency-era clothing, suggesting that whoever Groff's unnamed character is, he will likely be appearing in an episode set in the late 18th to early 19th century. And given Groff's musical talent, I for one am hoping that this episode contains at least some musical numbers, and maybe even a reference to Hamilton, especially given that Groff played King George III in 2015 to 2016's cast of Hamilton. Who knows, the episode may even be set during the American Revolutionary War. Aside from the above mentioned actors, a list of several other actors and individuals whose character details have yet to be disclosed has also been released. Those on the list include Bhav Joshi, Ailey Lone, Pete McHale, Hemi Rohan, and Miles Yekini. Who these actors may be playing, and how their paths will cross with the Doctor, is completely under wraps at the moment. However, it will be exciting to see them all in action, and hopefully more information will soon be forthcoming. Who are you most excited to see in the upcoming season of Doctor Who? Leave a comment on the Spotify Q&A or in the comments section of our Instagram and Reddit pages for this episode. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a like and share with your friends. You can also follow us on our Instagram page at Tardisian Files Podcasts, or join our Reddit community, Tardisian Files Podcast, for regular updates about upcoming episodes. And as always, join us next time on Tardisian Files. See you then, everyone!